please give the video a thumbs up. Express your insights. Join us now, and ensure you catch every moment of our captivating stories as they unfold. It was a typical Tuesday afternoon, yet suddenly, everything changed. The sun hid behind the clouds, casting an ethereal glow that seeped through the kitchen window while I sat in solitude, cradling my coffee, adrift in recollections. At 46, I thought I had everything in order, or at least that was the comforting illusion I clung to. A successful journey, a sanctuary of ease, a steady existence that wrapped me in security. Yet, everything has recently taken on a painfully empty quality. A sudden knock disrupted my reverie, yanking me away from the brink of nothingness. The knock quivered, hesitant, a murmur of uncertainty resonating in the stillness, as though the person beyond the door was unsure of their own existence. I flung the door open, and there stood Rachel, my neighbor, gripping a small envelope as if it contained the universe's secrets. "Hey, this is unexpected," she murmured, her voice quivering, "but I have something important to reveal." Rachel, in her late 40s, had been my neighbor for 5 enduring years, bearing the burden of time and quietude together. We exchanged brief words across the fence, shared bitter sips of coffee, and traded secrets from our kitchens. At one time, I thought she was perfect, a shining example of self-assurance that exuded kindness with each smile. Her presence enveloped me like a gentle embrace, and within her gaze, I discovered a glimmer of hope that softly assured me everything would be all right. On that day, she underwent a remarkable transformation. A burden, a hidden truth nestled deep within her essence. I stepped aside, my heart pounding, as she walked in, the chair groaning beneath the burden of unexpressed thoughts. She hesitated, the envelope quivering in her hand, ensnared in a whirlwind of doubt, poised on the edge of discovery. We would all make sacrifices. This hidden truth has engulfed me, casting me adrift in the depths of my own self. Her voice carried a pain that cut deep into my soul. The break of vulnerability that splintered my heart for her. This was a devastating revelation. It was an awakening, a reality so deep it had the power to shatter everything we thought we knew about each other. In that moment of silence, a tempest surged within me, a powerful awakening. The woman standing before me transcended the role of a simple neighbor. She carried a past that I was unprepared to confront. In that instant, I understood that whatever lay ahead would fracture our existence, tethering us in ways from which we could never break free. The silence hung heavily in the air, an oppressive force that neither of us dared to disrupt. Rachel's words echoed within me, rendering me motionless and without a voice. How could I possibly? The weight of her revelation descended, overwhelming and unyielding. A hidden truth, cloaked in darkness, had been concealed for years, poised to surface at any moment. Now it rested exposed, hanging in the space between us, a fragile fragment teetering on the edge of breaking. I observed her closely, each quiver of her hands clutching the chair, a frantic effort to seize the ephemeral moment. Her anxiety enveloped me, a tempest of doubt swirling around us, each heartbeat resonating with her trepidation about how I would react. Amidst the turmoil, I encountered a profound realization, an unforeseen truth that dismantled my reality. A determined spirit, waging a lone struggle against the haunting memories of her history. I writhed in my chair, her gaze bearing down on me like an impending tempest. My mind whirled, wrestling to comprehend her words. Her past hovered like a specter, a mesmerizing weave of shadows and intricacies that surpassed my imagination. But what could it have been? What was the eerie secret that had bound her in silence for such an extended period? "Rachel, there's no need to share everything in one go," I encouraged, my voice a soft yet firm presence amid the chaos. "I must seize the essence of reality. I live next door to you. I have consistently been there for you. I shall not obscure your light." Her eyes shimmered with appreciation, yet the heaviness of tension remained steadfast on her shoulders. She took a deep breath, her determination sparking to life like a fire poised to erupt. "Once, I was not the radiant, flawless wife you see before you." Her voice trembled again, a delicate murmur amidst the chaos. "Prior to Thomas, prior to this location, I found myself intertwined with someone else. An unhealthy influence in my existence. A person who, to put it mildly, fractured my sense of value. The words hit with the force of a thunderbolt. A fragment of my essence longed for something beyond the ordinary. Yet, this surpassed all that I could have ever envisioned. Her voice quivered with pain, a raw ache that fractured my very being. I longed to hold her close in her grief, but I knew instinctively that she needed to express it on her own terms. I was enveloped by a sense of youthful innocence. Rachel continued onward, her eyes distant, as though the echoes of her history lingered just out of reach. In the tempest of fervor, I found myself ablaze, vibrant, treasured in a way I had never experienced before. Ultimately, it was merely a harsh illusion. It unfolded like a tempest, a shadowy turn of destiny. I became entangled with an individual who manipulated my trust, using me as a mere piece in their ruthless strategy. Her eyes blazed with torment. She grappled with the words, each one a piercing blade wrenched from her soul, a tormenting liberation she could scarcely withstand. I held my tongue, allowing the gravity of the moment to linger heavily in the air between us. That was never her desire. She called out for understanding. And I was prepared to give everything up. When that relationship crumbled, I thought I had laid it to rest for good. I thought I could wipe it clean from my thoughts. Nevertheless, I did not succeed. It lingered in my mind, an unshakable presence. It engulfed me. Now I recognize how it has tainted every aspect of my life since that instant. All that I cherish is coming apart at the seams, my marriage, my friendships, my very essence. I struggled to express my emotions, a tempest swirling within me. The narrative unfolded with broken trust and intense anguish. A story of renewal, a woman fighting her way back from the depths of despair to restore her fragmented spirit. I understood that truth more profoundly than I would like to admit. I also battled my inner conflicts, caught between the facade I presented and the reality I concealed. But Rachel, why now? What prompts this moment? After all that we've experienced together? I have hidden my reality behind a perfect facade, a delicate barrier designed for endurance. I find myself at a breaking point. It has grown beyond my control now. I must confront the darkness, amend the mistakes that linger in my mind. I yearn for comprehension, a bond that breaks through the quiet, a look that perceives my entirety, unbroken and unblemished. Her words cut deep, tearing through the mask I presented to the world, a smile concealing the turmoil inside as everything fell apart around me. A chilling reverberation of a broken instant lingered in the air. The passage of time had worn away at her spirit, etching wounds that seemed impossible to mend. The burden pressed heavily, stifling, an unyielding tempest that refused to break apart. "I don't know what to do," Rachel gasped, her voice trembling, barely escaping her lips. I find myself wandering, a mere echo of who I once was, engulfed in a chasm of doubt. I extended my hand across the table, a slight tremor coursing through me as it connected with hers. In that ephemeral moment, a simple gesture became laden with the gravity of existence. "You're not alone, Rachel," I murmured, my voice a delicate whisper of comfort. "You have been discovered. Finally, you have made it. And that concludes it all. The initial step has been taken, you've revealed your innermost self. Your strength surpasses what you can truly understand." Her gaze cut through me, filled with thankfulness, yet tinged with a lingering sense of relief. A momentary escape, a soft breath of liberation. It marked the dawn, a glimmer of optimism amidst the shadows. On the precipice of uncertainty, my heart pounds with anticipation. She murmured, uncertain of what lay ahead, yet prepared to face it all. I must face the shadows that linger in my mind. I must face my choices, accept the burden of my decisions, and carve out a way forward. We remained in quietude, the burden of unvoiced thoughts pressing down upon us. The atmosphere buzzed with energy, a tension that had lingered for ages finally starting to dissipate, if just for a brief instant. Rachel did not seek forgiveness. She yearned for comprehension, not pity. All she longed for was the warmth of an embrace. To be acknowledged beyond her history, to have her courage celebrated in facing the darkness of her decisions. "I'm here for you," I murmured, my voice quaking with deep feeling. "In your most challenging times, when the quiet feels overwhelming, I will be there," prepared to listen to the unspoken pain of your heart. In that fleeting moment, everything transformed. This transcended Rachel's secret. Two women, two souls, navigating the loneliness of a cruel world, uncovering connection, understanding, and respect amidst the shadows. It was a struggle to discover the power hidden deep inside, to face the ghosts of the past, to embrace the unvarnished reality of existence, and to emerge from the broken pieces. Following our conversation, time warped into a blur of lingering reflections and delicate aspirations. Rachel lingered in my mind far more than I was willing to admit. Her confession etched itself into my soul, leaving a mark I could never escape. Her vulnerability hit me with the force of a thunderclap, an unguarded trust exposed, uncovering the profound layers of her being. It compelled me to confront my own concealed truths, lurking deep within, too afraid to acknowledge the reality. Yet now, it felt eerily transformed. Rachel's bravery broke through my shadows, unveiling a momentary realm of unfiltered reality and sharp insight. We promised to tread carefully, one fragile step at a time. The path loomed dark and treacherous, yet I felt the weight of Rachel's choice hanging in the air. She would break free from the chains of her past, no longer a prisoner of its shadows. She would emerge from the darkness, prepared to confront her past, and above all, she would begin to mend her shattered soul. With each passing day, I observed her with a fierce intensity. Within her, a fierce power surged, a transformation I couldn't grasp, yet it resonated deep within me. She was awakening, shedding the mask, embracing her true self with fierce abandon. One evening, I sat on my porch, tea in hand, when Rachel approached, her stance softer, a shift in the air between us. Her smile radiated warmth, yet her eyes whispered secrets of sorrow. Uncertainty lingered, yet a flicker of hope ignited within her, a spark I had never witnessed before. "Hey," she whispered, lingering at the base of the stairs, heart racing before daring to ascend. "May I step into your world?" I extended my hand, a silent invitation hanging in the air. "Absolutely." The silence shattered, and I was lost in the chaos. "Climb higher, now." Her smile flickered, steps buoyant yet heavy as she ascended the stairs. As she sank into the chair beside me, silence hung heavy in the air. She stood there, a storm brewing within, desperately searching for the words that could shatter the silence. A storm brewed behind her eyes, a weighty secret begging to be unleashed. "I'd been thinking," she started, her gaze fixed on the narrow expanse between our houses. The breeze tore through the leaves, a haunting whisper of nature's pulse. "All that is, all that was, all that could be." Reflecting on the past, the weight of what was, and the uncertainty of what lies ahead. I lingered, breath held as she dictated the rhythm of our fate. "I am worthy of joy, just as every soul is. I crave peace. I yearn for a life unshackled from the burdens of my past choices." Her words crashed into me, a tidal force that stole my breath and left me gasping in their wake. It pierced the silence, a raw confession of the heart. It shattered my reality. How could one endure such a weight for so long, yet emerge with such piercing clarity? "I can't see the future," she said, her eyes piercing into mine. "Will Thomas grasp the truth? Will anyone?" The uncertainty gnaws at me. I refuse to be trapped in the suffocating haze of fear and shame any longer. I must release my grip on the familiar, even if it shatters the world I once believed in. Pride surged within me for Rachel, the woman reborn, fiercely reclaiming her essence. The focus was never on their opinions or how they responded. It encompassed all she longed for, to feel whole again. "I need to step away from it all," she murmured, her voice quivering, "just for a moment. Maybe venture into the unfamiliar. Quiet the turmoil inside. Reveal my genuine yearnings, rather than the mirages of anticipation." Her words sliced through, liberating yet echoing in the mind. Rachel existed like a specter in her own existence, ensnared in an unyielding loop, her authentic self gradually dissipating. This journey, in all its complexity, signifies the start of her struggle to uncover the truth hidden beneath layers of fear and regret. And that was a deep well of admiration. "Rachel," I murmured, "that's absolutely brilliant. Truly exceptional. You have truly deserved every moment of it. Reclaim the core of who you are." It is your responsibility to honor your own needs. Her smile concealed a profound vulnerability, an unspoken question lingering heavily in the space between us. Am I really capable of confronting this? Could it truly be achievable? She inquired, her voice quivering with uncertainty. I took her hand, grounding her amidst the whirlwind of feelings, a brief yet profound connection. Your potential is undeniable. In this struggle, solitude is merely an illusion. I'm available for whatever you require. A delicate smile danced briefly, steeped in melancholy. Thankfulness resonates in the quiet moments. Your words cut deep into my very being. We remained in quietude, the diminishing glow enveloping the yard in an eerie embrace. The world stood still, a breath caught in anticipation, offering us this ephemeral instance of deep stillness. Rachel murmured, I dread that I've forfeited everything I ever longed for. Yet, a spark of optimism kindles inside me, allowing me to reach for something more profound. A stark reality, a gem that belongs only to me. Her words cut through me deeply. Rachel was unrecognizable, a shadow of the girl who once brightened our streets. This was a transformation I never anticipated. A fierce spark ignited within her, a vow not merely to exist, but to truly embrace life. Pride surged within me, words barely escaping as emotion choked my voice. You possess a strength beyond your imagination. Her smile widened, and in that heartbeat, I felt the shift. She was beginning to believe it, too. Rachel rose, hesitating at the threshold, her gaze piercing as she turned to confront me. Thank you for listening, she whispered, her voice trembling with raw emotion, for standing by me in the shadows. The weight of my secrets crushes me. I can't bear this alone any longer. You never have to, I whispered, my heart shattering as she vanished into the darkness, the night swallowing her whole, leaving only silence in her wake. I lingered in the silence, haunted by Rachel's journey, her absence echoing in my heart. The road loomed dark and treacherous, yet it was hers to conquer. I felt the fire within her, she would meet the storm head-on. The secret she had buried for ages was finally unleashed, a storm of liberation and chaos. It was the moment that could shatter her chains and ignite her destiny. The weeks after Rachel's choice to step back crackled with unspoken turmoil. I felt the shift in her even before she stepped back into my world. She reached out, her brief messages slicing through the silence, each one a pulse of her relentless journey. Every word was a battle won, a fierce declaration of her reclaiming life, finally embracing the freedom she had yearned for endlessly. One fateful afternoon, a month after she vanished, her voice pierced the silence, shattering my world. Her voice, when she spoke, shattered the silence. It resonated with a piercing clarity and an undeniable purpose that struck me to my core. I'm back, she declared, her voice unwavering yet heavy with feeling. I believe I've unraveled the truth at last. I've decided to move out, she declared, a bitter laugh breaking through her facade. I must rise anew to claim a life that is undeniably my own. A location has been identified. Though it may be small, it brings a profound sense of joy to my heart in this moment. A powerful wave of pride coursed through me, intense and unyielding. How can one endure the burden of such a decision? To leave behind a dwelling rich with memories, some eerie, others tinged with a bittersweet nostalgia. Finally, she was diving headfirst into a future that was entirely her own. Remarkable. Rachel, I exclaimed, my voice quivering with feeling. My heart is filled with happiness for you. I'll keep in touch, she murmured softly. Eyes ignited with fervent longing. Perhaps destiny will weave our journeys together again. Before long. This time, I hold the reins of destiny. With a firm grip on her suitcase, she pivoted, venturing into the uncertainty that had haunted her for ages. As she slipped away into the darkness, an eerie tranquility wrapped around my spirit. The Rachel I once knew has disappeared, metamorphosed into a formidable spirit who has discarded her former self and courageously confronts the depths of uncertainty. On the porch, I observed her disappear, and in that instant, I sensed the burden of my own change. Observing Rachel confront her fears and welcome the uncertainty completely exceeded my expectations, leaving me in awe. We carry our weights, but isolation is not our destiny. Confronting reality can be the most excruciating struggle we face, yet when we ultimately liberate ourselves, we are set free. Ultimately, Rachel's hidden truth dismantled it all. It changed everything for both of us, our lives forever intertwined in a whirlwind of turmoil. I will always cherish that gratitude deep within me.